All right, let's talk about 2026. I know it might sound like it's a ways off, but believe me, it is right around the corner. And today, we're going to bridge the gap between those huge Wall Street forecasts and what's actually happening with your retirement accounts. The stuff that really hits home. So, what's the deal with 2026? What does it have in store for the big picture economy and, let's be real, for your wallet? That's the number one question we're digging into right here. We're going to slice and dice the forecasts from the pros and get into the weeds on some brand new IRS rules that you absolutely need to know about. Stick with us, and by the end, you'll have a much clearer picture of what to do. Okay, let's start high level, the big picture for 2026. What are the top analysts saying about where the global economy is heading? So Goldman Sachs, they're actually feeling pretty good about things. They're calling for a sturdy 2.8% global growth. Now, what's interesting is that that's a little more optimistic than what most other folks are saying. It tells us they're seeing some real strength out there across the globe. And if we bring it back home to the US, the picture gets even better. We're looking at a projected 2.6% growth, which means the US is kind of set to be a leader, really outpacing other big economies. And you know what that means, right? It puts a big spotlight on the US for investors. Okay, so a strong economy often means good things for the stock market. And sure enough, Goldman is projecting an 11% return for global stocks. Now, hold on. An 11% return sounds fantastic, right? But it means nothing if you're not actually putting your money to work in the best way possible. And that's the kicker, because in 2026, the rules for how you do that are about to change in a big way. And that brings us perfectly to our next big piece of the puzzle. The retirement rules themselves are changing. Yep, there's this huge piece of legislation called the Secure 2.0 Act, and it's shaking things up with some really important updates you'll want to get ahead of. So you might be asking, what exactly is the Secure 2.0 Act? Well, think of it like this. It's a massive tune-up for the entire retirement savings system in the US. The big idea is to help people save more, which is great, but it also introduces some brand new rules you have to play by. And probably the biggest change hitting in 2026, especially if you're a high earner, has to do with something called catch-up contributions. That's the extra money that folks 50 and older can stash away in their retirement accounts. Well, that's getting a major facelift. Okay, so here's where it gets really specific. If you're earning over a certain amount, projected to be around $150,000, the game totally changes for you. See, right now, you can make those catch-up contributions either pre-tax or a Roth. You get a choice. But starting in 2026, no more choice. They have to be Roth contributions. That means you're paying the tax on that money up front, not later in retirement. The upside for you is that all the growth on that money is completely tax-free down the road. Now listen up, because this is a really big deal. Mercer Advisors points out something absolutely critical. If your employer's plan doesn't even offer a Roth option, well, you could be completely shut out from making any catch-up contributions at all. That's huge. So seriously, the time to check your plan is right now. Okay, so we've talked about the rules, but what does this look like in dollars and cents? Let's get into the new limits and start thinking about the strategies you can use. All right, let's look at the numbers for 2026. And there's some good news here. The main 401k limit is jumping up to $24,500. Your IRA limit, that's for traditional and Roth combined, goes up to $7,500. And for those of you with an HSA, which is a fantastic savings tool, the limits are rising to $4,400 for individuals and a really nice $8,750 for families. But wait, it gets even better if you're getting closer to retirement. The standard catch-up for anyone 50 and over is getting a boost to $8,000. But check this out. If you're specifically in that sweet spot between 60 and 63, you get what's being called a super catch-up, a whopping $11,250. And on top of all that, there's still that extra $1,000 catch-up for your HSA if you're 55 plus. I mean, just look at the difference here. That super catch-up is a serious jump. It really makes that 4-year window from age 60 to 63 this incredible golden opportunity to just pour fuel on your retirement savings right before you hit the finish line. Okay, we've gone through the economic forecast, we've dug into the new rules, so now the question is, what do you do with all this? Let's make it super practical. Here's your 2026 financial checklist. 4 simple steps you can take starting today. First, plan your contributions now. Don't wait until next year. Figure out how you're going to take advantage of these higher limits. Second, and this is huge, review your plan's Roth options. If you're a high earner, this isn't optional, it's essential. Third, leverage your age. If you're in that 60 to 63 bracket, get on the phone with your plan administrator and ask about that super catch-up. And finally, number 4, talk to HR. You just want to make sure your contributions and any company match are all playing nicely together under the new limits. And look, we have to say it, right? All this optimism is based on forecasts. And as any financial company will tell you, past performance is no guarantee of future results. So think of all this as a really good roadmap, not a crystal ball. Because at the end of the day, things are always changing. The markets, the rules, everything. So the real question I want to leave you with is a simple one. Is your financial plan built to handle whatever comes next?